Hello everyone, my name is Banner Vortex Nitro XP, and do I have a special little video for you guys today. I've decided to start up kind of a new series on my channel. It's one that I think a lot of people will like, and I'm not sure what I'll call it, but I'll basically tell you guys some stories from my childhood, kind of. Now, the first story that I'm going to tell you guys today is the story of Jacob the Meth-Head. Now, I'm calling him Jacob to, I don't know, for censorship reasons, I guess. I don't know, I'll just call him Jacob for this story. His real name's not too far off from Jacob, but I'll just call him Jacob for now. And this guy does some drugs. Or at least that's the rumor. We don't know if it's like meth or crack or what, but I call him the neighborhood Meth-Head. So, this was back when I was in high school still. And I was coming home from school one day, and the bus driver couldn't get down our road. And the reason why she couldn't get down our road was because there were police officers. They didn't have the road completely closed, but it was a one-lane road because they had the other lane locked down at this ditch that's right outside my trailer park. For those of you that don't know, I do live in a trailer park. It used to be a nice elderly community place back when I was like 6, but now the Meth-Head Jacob moved in, and then all of his drug friends came by. But I'm pretty sure Meth-Head Jacob was the first one to be here, and then after him, everyone else just kind of followed suit. And sooner or later, this neighborhood turned kind of druggy, and worse than it once was. Sorry if you hear like mic noises, I'm trying to fix my mic. Okay, anyway, so, back to the story. The reason why the police were outside was because an elderly man in a silver minivan had ended up crashing in the ditch outside of our trailer park. So I unfortunately found out later in time that the old man that van belonged to had died. So my heart is heavy for the family and or families that old man's death had affected. But it was a silver minivan and it crashed in the ditch. And I must admit, even though that old man died, it is pretty cool being walked through a crime scene, because that is what the police officers had to do. They had to walk us through the crime scene because they're not going to have us go to the right side out into the open lane, and they're not going to have us go to the left side under the fence into private property and then back down out into our housing, which is unfortunately what I had to do when I was escaping a flood, but the Amish people don't really care. So we were escorted through this crime scene, me and a few of my other friends, and I must admit it was pretty cool seeing like all the crime scene behind the scenes and stuff. And I come home and I get it and I walk down the street and I get inside and I sit down on my ass and play some video games, obviously, because I have nothing really better to do in life. And a few hours go by. And during a quiet point in one of my games, I can hear my parents out in the living room talking. And my mom says something along the lines of, because my dad's name is Don and my mom's name is Linda. So she goes, "Oh my God, Donnie, did you..." No, this isn't actually what my mom sounds like. "Oh my God, Donnie, did you hear that Jacob got arrested?" I hesitated there because his name's not actually Jacob. I'm trying to refrain from calling him his real name. But did you hear that Jacob got arrested again? And I was intrigued. So I wait like about a 20-minute period time frame. I come out and I'm like, "I overheard you guys talking about Jacob. What happened with him? I gotta hear this. It sounds hilarious." And he's like, "Ben, it's not hilarious. It's actually kind of..." Oh, sorry, I had to burp there. "Ben, it's not hilarious. It's actually kind of crazy." And I'm like, what happened? You gotta tell me. And she ends up telling me that he ended up getting arrested. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a little detour into what I like to call the mind of a meth head. Now, Jacob is an alleged meth head, and he lives right next to this woman in our neighborhood who is an alleged prostitute. Now, the thing is that same day, when I was walking down to my house, I saw him, the prostitute, and some other Spanish chick who we also thought was a prostitute because she was way too good looking to hang out with Jacob. We're guessing that he hired both of them to hang out with him on like this little like love seat swing thing that the prostitute who lives here has in her yard in the very, very back near the shed. So I could see like nobody, basically almost pretty much nobody has privacy outside here because you can see down everybody's, like, you can see everybody's entire yard just from the road. So I could see him hanging out with them. He waved hi to me. I was like, oh yeah, hi Jacob. Because, like, he's kind of more of, like, pure... He's a carbon-based cringe form than a life form. He's a cringe-based life form rather than a carbon-based life form. And so he waved at me. I was like, yeah, hi Jacob. And then we... down the road, and I got inside and played video games, like I said, and then I was asking my mom how I got arrested, and here we are. And in the mind of a meth head, you see the police outside. Let's just say at the time Jacob was high, which I think he was. Oh shit! The police are outside the park. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, did they find me? Did they find me? No, that's not what goes through your mind. You'd think that that's what what would go through your mind when you're high, because when you're high, you might not have seen the car crash. So if you see the cops, you're like, oh shit, I better stay away from them. When you're high. But no, this dude thinks, them motherfucking police are practically on my lawn. I'm gonna practice my fucking freedom of speech and go out there and talk shit. Okay? Which, I don't understand why he thought that way, but he did. Not only did he think the best course of action was to go out onto the crime scene and talk shit on the cops, but he also had 2 warrants out for his arrest. I don't know about you guys, but if I had 2 warrants out for my arrest, I wouldn't be walking onto a fucking crime scene like I own the joint, okay? Do you want to get arrested? So he walks out there, and I don't know what they said. So this story, by the way, this story is entirely true. The only part that I'm fabricating is the conversations between Jacob and the police officer, just because I want to make the story a little funnier. But I can imagine Jacob probably left his house thinking, all these goddamn police officers are out there on my front lawn, goddamn it. Walks out, he walks down the road. Granted, the entire time, he consciously knew what he was doing, because the walk between his trailer and where the police were was at least a 5-minute walk. So he knew the entire time, consciously, what he was doing. Whether he was high or not, he consciously thought out that this was the best course of action. So he's walking down the road, and there's police tape tied with, like, cones around the area you're not supposed to go into. They're like little, like, cone pole things. They're like those orange cones, but they're like the tall, skinny ones. And they have them set up, and they tied the police tape around them because somebody was killed there. I think the old man did die on impacts, but there's somebody was killed there. And this dude walks all the way there, like 5 minutes of consciously thinking that of him knowing, he knows what he's doing. And he's walking out, and there's a cop right there at the tape guarding. And somehow, Jacob gets into the crime scene, and nobody notices he's there. Nobody notices that Jacob is there. Okay, now this I know for a fact, because we heard from accounts of Jacob's neighbors who were watching like what was going on. They went outside to see what was happening. They saw him walk under the tape, and he stood there for maybe like 2 straight full minutes, just looking around. He walks up to, ironically, what is probably the head cop, And again, I don't know the conversations, but I'd imagine he walks up and he starts talking shit like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing near my property? I'm American citizen. You cannot be near my property, God darn it." And this cop at this point was having a tough day. He had none of his shit. So this cop was like, "Look here, boy, you can turn around and go back to your house, or we're gonna kick your ass. Okay, you're technically violating the law right now by stepping on a crime scene, but we're gonna let you go if you just get the fuck out." He sits there and he goes, "No, I want answers," and he's basically just giving the cops shit at this point. So the cop slams him up against the police cruiser, puts him in handcuffs, and shoves him in his car. Doesn't even deal with him for like 3 minutes. And then gets back to Jacob, and he asks him, he's like, "Okay, sir, what's your name?" And he goes, "My name is Jacob." No, I'm just gonna say X, because I actually don't know his real last name. And this dude, the cop, looks up on his computer and finds that Jacob has 2 warrants out for his arrest. And the cop then probably turned to him and said, "Sir, you have 2 warrants out for your arrest." I'm not sure, but at that point, Meth-Head Jacob could have thought 2 things. 1, oh hell, I'm fucked. I shouldn't have come out here. Or 2, damn right I got 2 warrants out for my arrest, I'm a badass. Like, like, he thought one of those things before he was whisked off to prison. Fucking taken off to prison. And he served 2 years in prison. I don't know what the hell he did, but he served 2 years in jail from that. Comes back in 2 years. And my mom hears all about this. And tells me some of the shit. Now, half of that, like, most of that dialogue was made up by me, but some of it, I remember key points in this dialogue because my mom said that Jacob told her when she, got back, when he got back from prison. And what is weird is that this isn't the first time Jacob's been in prison either. He's been in prison before. And I don't know what possessed him that day to go out and just walk onto that crime scene and talk shit to all these police officers, but he did it. And you know what, guys? I guess the moral of the story, there's 2 morals to this story. 1, at the end of the day, well, actually, there's 3. 1, at the end of the day, don't do drugs. 2, at the end of the day, don't walk onto crime scenes, especially if you know you have 2 warrants out for your arrest. And 3, if you come back from 2 years in prison, and every single time people see you, they think, "Please end my suffering," you need to find either a new place to live or new people to talk to. But anyway, that's going to do it for this story today, guys. I hope it was at least remotely funny. I hope I got some laughs out of you guys, maybe from this story. Now, I chose to tell this story today because it actually isn't the funniest that I know, but I thought I'd open up the series with this one because I think it is funny, but it's not the funniest one I know. Trust me, I was telling some of my friends last night this story, and last night I thought, you know what, I should tell these stories in a series. But anyway, if you guys made it this far, make sure to drop a like. In the comment section, tell me your favorite part of this story. And as always, I'll see you all in the next activity. Bye-bye.
Here it goes! Allah Akbar!